Heyo everyone! Let's look at the first unit coming to Season 7, the Sons of Fenrir. The Sons of Fenrir are a 3-star Silver Era unit that cost 180 leadership. Their bestial nature makes them quick to spot as they run around the battlefield. So let's take a closer look at if they are worth using. Sons of Fenrir have 4 traits. Lithe, which signifies that they are agile with a high resistance to ranged damage. Featherweight. The unit has minimal weapons and armor, allowing the unit to move quickly. Northlanders. This is the Season 7 unit trait that gives them a decrease in leadership of 10 during Season 7, making their leadership 170. Undisciplined. The unit fights like a mob, unable to adopt formations. Speaking of formations, they have 2. The Dispersed formation for reducing the impact of concentrated incoming ranged attacks. Also the Scatter formation, which is still widespread, but tightens the unit for a more concentrated assault. The unit orders available start with Wolf's Leap. The unit sprints in the designated direction. If it is moving fast enough when it contacts the enemy, it will leap over that enemy. This is great for getting over shield wall formations. Next is Beast. The unit gains a temporary buff to the damage it deals. Every time you kill an enemy during this period, the cooldown of Predator will be reduced. Predator is an order that for a short time after the skill is used, the unit will continue to move at a high speed and will enjoy a higher resistance against ranged damage. There are 2 Veterancy lines available. The top line focuses on defense and the bottom line focuses on attack. You can see on screen now the base stats of the unit, and before you get into a line, the unit will get a 5% increase to slashing armor penetration. Going top line will net a 6% increase to slashing damage, 15% increase to health, 4-second cooldown reduction to Wolf's Leap, 5% increase to slashing armor penetration, 10% increase to ranged resistance, 6% increase to piercing defense, 4-second cooldown reduction to Beast. Each attack on an enemy increases slashing damage by 5% and movement speed by 2% for 5 seconds. This effect can stack up to 3 times. The top line does help with survivability of the unit, and that is something that they do have a hard time with against other melee units. The final node also gives a decent damage buff with the stacks. Let's look at the competing line, which is the bottom. Going bottom will net a 6% increase to health, a 6% increase to slashing armor penetration, 6-second cooldown reduction to Predator, 9% increase to slashing damage, 3% increase to Beast damage, gives Beast an additional bleed effect, 6-second cooldown reduction to Wolf's Leap, and using Wolf's Leap triggers an additional Predator effect, lasting 4 seconds. The bottom line is purely a damage line. The only defense node is a bit of health that you can get. The bleed effect is a very tempting boon, especially with Wolf's Leap triggering additional Predator. With that being said, I personally will be going with the top line. I will get into why in the conclusion of the video. For now, let's move on to Doctrines. The Doctrines I will be working towards are the Resist Arrow Doctrine, the Battle Line Doctrine, which is the Epic Breakthrough Doctrine, Life Doctrine, Slashing Damage Doctrine. This loadout focuses on taking out ranged units. Arrow Resist reduces arrow damage to the unit while also increasing damage to ranged units. Life Doctrine just ups their life for survivability. I would potentially replace this with the Epic Siege Fighter or Open Ground Doctrines if you mainly play siege or field battles. Let's take a look at some of the matchups that we were able to pull off before I give my thoughts on the Sons of Fenrir. As a note, I did not use any Doctrines during testing. The Sons of Fenrir are going to be a difficult unit to use. They match up poorly against other melee units. If you manage to avoid a charge from an equal tier or lesser unit, they can trade at an okay rate, but mostly they will melt if they engage anything. Where they seem to fit in is as a flanking unit that takes out the ranged support. They have great resistance to ranged attacks, and with their crazy speed they close the gap quickly. This is one of the reasons I plan to run the top line Veterancy. I do not need as much damage on them to take out archers and muskets, but need the survivability to run the backfield and close the gaps with the units. I do feel that both lines will be viable for the Sons of Fenrir, since they really do fit in as a niche as a unit. On top of that, in the matchup, you notice that the top line and bottom line do trade with each other fairly effectively. As a note, when you are attacking archers, make sure to use Predator to approach them, rather than Wolf's Leap to charge in. The damage reduction of Predator will help with survivability, though this note is not as important if you decide to try the bottom line. I hope this video gave you a look into the Sons of Fenrir unit, and got you excited for Season 7. I will be doing separate videos for the other Season 7 units, though they will come after the season has started. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, and until next time, I'll see you on the battlefield. Haha! Yes! Yes! Oh!